Hi, this is Eli Ocheltree of the SnoKing Beekeepers Association, and it is the 29th of July. We have still 4 weeks to the fair. The fair starts really late this year on August 27th. We're going to go through the basic material for volunteering. I think we have a couple of completely new people here. And even if you're familiar with the fairgrounds, it can still be confusing trying to find where we are and how you get there. So I run through these slides and then you can interrupt me at any time if you want to ask questions. This is probably not the best first slide, but okay, my slides are probably out of order. This is at the very end. I usually say this. So this really should be my last slide for the next monthly meeting we have. Remember to pick up your t-shirt the first shift you work. If you promise to work 3 shifts, you sign up for 3. You text your t-shirt size to Becky. I have her number later on in these slides. And I'm fairly sure I put it in the newsletter. If not, it will absolutely be in the next one. And we meet at the feed store. And I'll show you on the map where the feed store is if you're not familiar with the Snohomish Monroe Co-op feed store right on the side of the fair. And we meet there if you need a ticket or a parking pass brought to you, because sometimes you left it at home, sometimes we didn't mail them to you in time. Also, I need people to update their honey list information that goes on the website, and we put it on the table. And people say, where can we get local honey? We can't sell anything at the booth itself. We can display a jar of honey, which is a really nice idea, but we can't sell anything. But you as members are entitled to have your names on the front page, a link on the front page of our website on the home page, and then it takes people to you and your contact information and whatever you want to put about your honey. Or some people sell wax and pollen and such. That needs updating, so we should get that updated before the fair. And there are always shifts available until the end. And several experienced beekeepers are waiting to fill in the remaining slots. They already told me that. No one will ever be left alone on their shift. Our club always has enough people that no one's left alone. So to volunteer, you sign up using the Sign Up Genius. Min already set that up. If it doesn't work, I think Min put his contact information there. If he didn't, I will get it to you. And very, very seldom does someone have a problem signing up. But every once in a while, something's odd on their, I don't know if it's pop-ups or what it is on their browser. If you are volunteering for 3 shifts, or if you haven't even put them down yet, but you know you're going to work them, you just don't know exactly which ones. Right now, text your name and your t-shirt size to Becky at that number, 901-931-1834. And she needs to get them at least a couple weeks in advance, if at all possible. Really, it has to be a couple weeks in advance. Can't really be last minute. If we end up with extra t-shirts, we also make them prizes for the drawing for volunteers. You get 1 chance per shift if you're a volunteer that you have worked, and there's a drawing for some prizes. It's the only way you can get the prizes and extra t-shirts is by volunteering and getting chances for that drawing. And we do that the monthly meeting after the fair. So I already said, if you need parking or admission tickets, you didn't get them somehow in advance, you call. We'll meet you at the Snohomish Monroe Co-op feed store. I think the full name is Snohomish Co-op at Monroe store. Now, getting into the fair is always, it puzzled me for the first couple of years. You look for the little red flags, kind of reddy orange. Some of them are getting very faded out over time. You actually have to get in those lanes on the side of Highway 2 if you can. You enter to get into the correct parking lot, actually to get into the fair. You usually don't turn at a stoplight. To get to where you want to go, don't turn at a stoplight. Enter through these red flag parking lanes leading into the parking lot. Once you get in, it's easiest to enter the fair through a tunnel that goes under, I think it's Street 179th. Then you're almost can see us right away. You go a little to the right and you'll see our booth. And I have some pictures in case you've never seen it before. When you get there, sign in. Even if you decide you need to be inside at the indoor honey booth, we want everyone to be comfortable. There is another option if you can't sit outside, it's absolutely too cold, too hot, or whatever. You go ask Tim 80, and who's the event supervisor in charge of both the indoor honey booth and all the outdoor beekeeping exhibits. If you decide to do that, you still need to sign in so we log your hours, because a year later, you're going to ask me, people do, even 2 or 3 years later, and they say, okay, how many hours did I work? And that's how we know, is you logged in and out, and I can scan those log sheets and people can look up their hours on them. You have about 3 years to earn your journeyman service credits between your apprentice certificate and when you can actually get your journeyman certificate, with a few exceptions. It's going to take a full 3 years. So you have plenty of time to get those credits. And sometimes people forget how many shifts they worked. There should be a volunteer packet there, and your t-shirt will be there the first shift. And there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of fun, but don't worry about not knowing the answer. If you don't know the answer, you direct people to our website, to another beekeeper, to our YouTube channel, and if all else fails, take down name and number and we'll call them. The important thing is to have fun. And at the end of your shift or shifts, you sign out again. So we know that when you ask me 3 years later what you worked, we've got it. And journeyman service, for those of you who haven't faced it yet, you have to fill out a form, which actually stays with the club, but it is you have to have 35 service credits for certification. Half of them can be in one area, for example, staffing booths at this fair or home shows, farmers markets, anything that comes up that's informational. And you could do half your credits in presentations too. This is an old, I'll send you the newer log if you would like this. I print it double-sided, and I can send it to you by email, double-sided, slightly updated. There's actually one more category down at the bottom that's been added on: attending WSU, Washington State University events. And the questions are not going to be hard. I promise you. Where are the restrooms? And there's the really good restrooms, and we tell you where the really good air-conditioned, clean restrooms are. The others are okay, but they're fair. They're only fair because they're at the fair. You'll get questions like, is it true the bees are dying? And people want to hear, and you feedback, well, no, we're not letting them. And it's a conversation starter. People ask, how do I get started in bees? And that's a good question. And we have some materials there at the fair that you can hand them. Then when is the next class? I can tell you right now, it's going to be October. Just after the conference starts, we will start all 3 levels of beekeeping classes. Journeyman might have to start a little earlier. I'm still figuring that out. And then if they're not ready to take beginner in October, if they take beginner in January, they'll still have lots of time to get everything, get their bees and everything. We'll start fairly early in January with another beginner class, and actually apprentice and journeyman as well. We're unusual as a club because we offer all 3 levels year round. This is the first summer in 3 or 4 summers that we haven't offered classes. And luckily I took it off because it turned out this summer got really super busy. They can also just go straight to our website, SnoKingBK.org/classes, and look for beginner. A lot of people don't want to take a beginner class. You hear it a lot. And we need them to take the class just so they know basics. They can name the parts of the hive. They know that there are drones, queens, and workers. It's a real easy, if they want to sort of challenge it, fine, talk to me. It's basically a test on the manual. We'd love to have them actually come to the classes. They'll be surprised how much they will learn. We don't just read the manual to you. Brandy's been doing it for 1.5 years. I do need a new beginning instructor for this fall. unless Brandy might come back, but she's done it for a whole year and a half straight without a break. So if anyone's interested who has taken the academic part of Journeyman and they'd like to teach beginner, talk to me, okay? Let me know. These people want to go straight to getting a mentor. Getting a mentor is one of the hardest things that we do in beekeeping, as you may have noticed. I can email mentor, pictures, discussion groups mentor. Coming out is harder, but I'm right there at the apiary 2 days of the week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's actually how you get a mentor, is you make an effort. Some people actually want to pay someone to come out. And if they want to do that, they can advertise on our Facebook discussion group. That's a good way to ask. And sometimes people are just willing to mentor in an area. I wish all mentoring was free, but it's getting less so. I help as much as I can, but I am sort of tied up with the classes. But the most fun I ever had was going out for 2 summers in a row and just visiting different apiaries and people who were starting beekeeping. I learned so much, and they did too. Now, and the next question is, are your classes in person? No, and it's not possible to do them in person in October, January, even February, March, even April to really do anything with bees. You could take them in a store and where they will be showing you equipment that they want to sell you. That is possible. There are maybe 1 or 2 other places, bee clubs, that will actually have an in-person class, and our apiary classes are in person. Absolutely. Wednesdays and Saturdays until the fair, and maybe after the fair if the weather holds. But our Zoom classes do allow discussion and questions and answers, and the presentation part is recorded. So it's live, but it's not in person, except at the apiary. And the t-shirts, you pick them up your first shift. If you have become a member and I haven't gotten a membership packet out to you, I'll have some of those that people can pick up there too. The Evergreen State Fair has really odd days this year. It starts really late. The reason it starts so late, August 27th, is because Labor Day is on the 7th and the fair traditionally ends on Labor Day. That's the actual address of, I believe, actually the feed store. I think that's a feed store address, Cascade View Drive. I think so, but I consider that the address to the fair, basically. With each shift you work, you get a free admission ticket and a free parking pass. If you work a whole day, that means that you have 2 extra admission tickets and parking passes that you can bring in family. And they're full tickets. They're not limited like to certain days or to a younger age group or seniors or anything like that. A lot of the free days of the fair too don't exist anymore. If you haven't been to the fair in, I don't know, about 4 years or so, you might be surprised to find out there's not a free seniors day. There's not a free kids under a certain age day, except for, I think, really small kids under school age. There's just not the free that there was before. They need to get a little more money on the gate. However, they also need us volunteers. So if you want to earn enough admission and parking passes to get your family in, that's great. And that's quite a bit of money. That is over $30, just an admission and a parking pass. And I keep saying, you've got to text Becky. I promise, Becky. See, Becky, I promise that I would make sure that everybody knew they needed to text you their name and size for the special, really nice handcrafted shirts, which show up in a picture later. And the sign up is here. Oh, honey booth. And the honey booth is in building 500, agricultural display. We're outside on our tents. We are, and the NWDBA, which a lot of people in our club also belong to the NWDBA. If you're already coming to the fair, it is fun to go look at all the hive product entries and see who won. And if you entered, you could be in there with an award ribbon next to your honey. And you could brag about having award-winning honey. Tim 80 he was recorded at the June 2024 meeting, and the last monthly meeting, I summarized what he had said the best I could, and I put it in a short recording on our YouTube channel that says something about submitting winning fair entries. The best of Tim 80, his tips on how to submit a winning entry. And there's a link. I think that's to the 2024. Parking. Really want to warn you, there's no ins and outs. So if you forget your parking and your admission ticket, we'll meet you at the feed store, so you don't have to pay $15 to come in. It's not fair after you're already volunteering. The admission tickets, the prices haven't really gone up from last year, but they simplified them some, I think. $16 at weekdays, $18 on weekends, and then it says seniors. It looks like the seniors might get $2 off, but it says Labor Day. So I don't know if that means only Labor Day. There used to be an entire free day for senior citizens. Now there isn't. I put a couple of other special days down here. Senior Citizens Day now is $7. And kids school age 6 to 12 years old, they are $7 on that particular day, opening day. But why not just volunteer and get your tickets free and your parking passes? And if somehow you know a family that wants to come, and that's unaffordable by the time you multiply out the admission, on the second Thursday of the fair, there's a family day, and there is $5 admission and $5 parking. The t-shirts, yes. I don't know. I think, Becky, are we going? I don't know if we're going with black. Maybe Becky wants to tell us if we're going with black or this year. And I'm wearing this one myself right now. And we've had slightly different designs throughout the years. And they're really good. They're really good cotton. They wear really well. You will own it for years. Okay, so if you are volunteering, you need to sign up on Sign Up Genius. You need to text the t-shirt size. And I will send you an email in about a week or two, asking whether you wish those admission and parking passes mailed to you, or if you'll pick them up at the Maltby Apiary, my place, which I could use help at the apiary. If anybody wants to help me get things in order so I can be gone for almost 2 weeks to go to the fair, help me get started on OAV. And right now I'm putting Naroa, which is kind of interesting, on the hives. I pulled honey off, put the Naroa on, and I've already got Varroa sand strips in. If you want to come talk bees, it's a great chance. Wednesday, 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Come see what I'm doing. The inspector for the APHIS Citizen Science Project. Oh, we've been involved. I think it's the 4th citizen science we've been involved in this year. We did the capture brood, the pollen study we're doing right now. And and there's a survey that Bree has put out. And it seems to me there might even be another one. And we had 8 of the apiary hives inspected by Zoe Wilson, who came all the way from Idaho. She's the grad student who's getting a little bit of a stipend or something to come all the way over here, travel all over state of Washington. And I don't know how many colonies, how many apiaries here she's really sampling, but we are one of the lucky ones. We're even going to have our wax tested for pesticides and stuff, which is super expensive. You could never afford it. I don't expect they'll find anything of significance, but they're looking for hives, apiaries throughout the United States. This is a national study. Okay, if somehow we miss and you don't have your ticket and your parking pass, I can't emphasize enough, just text us, actually call. You better ring, because I don't answer the phone unless you ring. I miss texts all the time. Mike Geppardy is going to still be the morning opener. He's usually the person who's there almost every morning. And then I'm there a lot of times. But I sometimes am lazy and get there a little later. But Mike or I can make sure that you get those tickets and passes. Okay, to get there. This confused me. I know if I go through this too much, it's because I had troubles understanding how this all worked the first couple of years. And no matter how many times I looked at this map, it wasn't a north, south, east, west grid. This is Highway 2 here. If you are coming from Lake Stevens farther north, you come and you are passing the red parking lot. You will have to make a left turn to get into the correct place. It won't be at a stoplight. And so I can't warn you enough. If you turn at the stoplight, usually you turn at this one, which is okay if you're a horse person and they're going to let you into the horse barns. But it's not going to get you to the right parking lot and make your life easy. So you have to look for the little red flags hanging out there. And if you're coming the other way, it's the same thing. And in that case, you go, I think, through the stoplight, and usually I think there's a little lane that sort of pulls off here with little red flags, and you can get into the red parking lot. If you land in another parking lot, okay, they'll still take your $15 parking pass, and they will almost always have some form of trolley. They've been using smaller, large golf carts type trolleys recently. They used to have a really big one, but now they think they're using more the seats, 6, 7 people type golf cart type transportation. It's really fun. They'll take you right to your car. If you have totally forgotten where you put your car and it's late at night, you get to meet the nicest drivers while you drive around and try to remember where your car is. Okay, that should never happen to anyone but me, but it's really fun because they're very nice people. Yeah, I know we're all supposed to get out of the car and take the picture of our car with our cell phone, because that's why we have cell phones, so they can be our brains. Okay. So should you land in the wrong parking lot, though, the trolleys will take you around. And should you forget where your car is, they will also take you around. Free. I covered the note. You're not entering at the stoplight, which is here. You are entering on these funny little turn lanes, which are red flagged. As for the handicapped and the load unload, if you need it, the load unload is like right here, and this red right here, they keep renaming the gates. It's the red gate. If you call it the red gate, everybody will know what you mean. It may say something like something Washington Credit Union or something now, but that's okay. They paid for the advertising. You come in here and you are going to find us almost immediately. And you are walking under 179th Avenue Southeast, this street here. Our booth is there. See, wasn't this neat? I put these neat little icons on there. The booth is there. The indoor honey is in building 500. And you have to sort of orient yourself by here's the grandstand, this is a racetrack, and I think that's the grandstands. Yeah, the grandstand's there. And you orient yourself and walk down this way, you will find the indoor honey. The feed store I keep talking about is the other turn, which is not a stoplight, but you might have to turn in there long enough to cell phone text us, or you can go a little past them sometimes and sort of turn around and say, we need our tickets, parking pass, especially the parking pass. I have here's another view of it. If you think like me and you have to make somebody east-west, okay, Highway 2 in my head goes this way. Okay, I can remember what I'm doing. I can see the angles at which I turn. Oh, and up here is where you get the best food. I think it's called the Scotsman. And it's because the horse people and the other livestock people have to have someplace they can get some real food. They have to stay there all the time. Horses are too valuable, and parents and whole families, and they end up staying in RVs at the fair for the whole 11 days. Some of them just half of the fair. And they have the cleanest restrooms too. And it's this horse arena, and then this little Scotsman restaurant. Not open all the time, but really the best food. You get loaded tater tots and salads, and honest, a little bit better than the average, and reasonable price compared to fair prices in general, reasonable prices. If you need to see it overhead, please go to your phone. If you're a person that just has trouble, I have trouble with directions until I see a map, a fixed map, and the satellite view of your phone will help you. And again, you'll be able to figure out we are here. You will be able to, the grandstand, the racetrack there. and you will be able to figure out this is the red parking lot. Okay, enough about maps. And then once you get in there, you can get a map, or you on your phone. They have a fair app, actually. They would love to have you use and go paperless as soon as you go in, or before even, you can load it. This is an older year that we were doing the fair. We like to put out at least one scarecrow mannequin. Becky was making these, and that's really my favorite, is the honey bandit. That one is just, that one's just perfect. And we have an observation, we always have an observation hive with a queen marked. I know we probably shouldn't make it that easy, but we mark the queen because it really, really helps people with poor eyes and the little kids. And hey, some of us that our eyesight isn't as good. And we put out literature, we put out free. We don't sell anything. So it's important that we put up free signs to make sure people understand it's free, what we're offering.
Hey, Eli, have we
Yes.
contacted like Better Bee or whatever to get the catalogs yet?
I did Man Lake, and I need to call Dayton and Better Be earlier in the day because they don't stay open late. But I got the numbers. I'll do that. Yeah, because I really want the Better Be one. And David
Better
Peck.
Bee used that, those front
Yeah.
pages was just so useful.
And I want to make sure that we have them for the conference, because we'll be taking not this whole setup, but we'll take what we can put on a 10 by 10 table to the conference. And Better Be, the reason Ty is mentioning it is it's got, is it 10 or 15 pages that is very, very useful in the catalog. There's stuff for kids, there's stuff for adults, there's short explanations on what you need to get started, on what, just really nice short explanations of
Very
what
basic,
bees.
as well as the high breakdown, all the components.
Yeah.
It's really serious about being a beginner. It's great to go to that catalog because it just lays it out.
Yeah.
So whatever discussion you have, you can point to a picture and it has a discussion. And so that you don't have to be the person with all the answers. They can start working with other resources other than just you.
Yeah, that's one of the resources, probably the best resource that we have for beginning. And I hate to try to duplicate them because they're so good, that catalog. Okay, so it's betterbee.com. And I wanted to say that at the conference, David Peck of betterbee.com, he's a bee researcher, promotes beekeeping person who is actually paid by Better Bee to just talk about bees, find out what we need to know. And he is a full PhD that I think he got his PhD at Cornell he worked with Tom Seeley at Cornell. So I thought his PhD was probably through there too. And he's going to come talk. He's one of the main speakers at the conference the first weekend of October over in Wenatchee. They're also supposedly going to have Frederick Dunn, The Way to Bee. He's a popular YouTube beekeeper, and Cayman Reynolds, who's a popular YouTube beekeeper, does interesting videos on bees. But back to August 27th, we're starting the fair. I'll have the list of what you do when you open up right next to the sign-up sheet. You roll the walls of the tent up. Did you notice? I should go back one. It has these we zip it up every night and we pull everything in. There's our brochure stack. We have to bring the mannequin in and all the tables have to go back in. The observation hive actually gets carried all the way down to building 500 because bees, remember your brood has to be at 91 to 94 degrees. Most fair days are cold. You'll notice the gray skies up above in this picture. August is often not hot. Sometimes it is. And we have to keep the bees out of direct sun when it's hot, especially. And then we need to put them away at night because we don't want them dropping all the way down to, with the wind going through, it could be below 50. It does happen. I know it's still happening in my place. So you roll the walls up. Somebody goes to retrieve the observation hive from building 500. Mike Geppardy will be there most of the time. And that building 500, that's where the honey booth is. You move the racks and the brochure stands out if it's not raining, we hope, and refill them with brochures, catalogs, magazines in boxes, usually under the table. Then we have the tablecloths that cover all the stuff under the tables, which is really nice. Makes it look a lot more tidy. Before we didn't have tablecloths, we now have some. You need to plug in or turn on the electricity and start the TV with the slideshow. There's a USB plug of slides of what we've been doing in our apiaries and in the club apiary and in general, what we beekeepers are doing. And you can send in more slides. If you want to do slides of you beekeeping and you want to, that's great. If you want to volunteer them, send them in to me. Email's probably the easiest if you email them to me. Close up is going to be the opposite. Everything comes in. I didn't put here that that observation hive has to go back to building 500 by the honey booth. And this one's a little odd. The brochures need to be not only inside the tent, but under some kind of plastic, in plastic bins, with something plastic laid over them. And cardboard boxes can't be on the ground, directly on the ground. They actually soak up water almost every year. It's that wet, either from the dew on top or from water in the ground. The banners and the laminated posters hanging inside can stay up. Everything else needs to come in one way or another. And you roll down, you fasten the walls at the side, you turn off the lights. Oh, and text me if water and pop in the cooler are getting low. We want to make sure something's always there. If you've gone to a summer picnic and you have sugar-loaded drinks or your unfavorite type of pop, go ahead and contribute them to the cooler, okay? Oh, and yes, this tiny little monitor is what we used to have. We have a much bigger one now. I've really got to update these pictures. I think the canopy is the same, 10 by 20 feet, which gets used up really fast. Yeah, send them to me and I'll put them in. We will have a Varroa treatments poster. This one isn't up to date, these pictures, but I want to make sure we get one up this year because that's a big topic. And there's the ones we really, really recommend and not the synthetic ones that haven't been working, have been failing all along.
We should add Aurora.
Yeah, see, that's supposed to be in here and it's not. Actually, Mighty Way Quick Strips needs to get taken out because last I heard you can't buy it in the United States. It may be legal, but nobody's selling it because they're selling Fomic Pro. So right there on my new slide, I will have Naroa in the poster. And keep referring people to the fact that we do have a website, a YouTube channel. We have the Facebook discussion group. You do have to say that you are in Western Washington and are interested in or keeping bees, but that's not difficult. That helps you too with a lot of questions. People want to know, and you know that we talked about Varroa at a monthly meeting, and you know that we talked about winterization like three years in a row. So it's easy to find some way to pass people on. There's the Better Bee catalog. You can always take a name and number and we'll call them. We can have a sign-up sheet, but we'd really rather that people use their phones and went directly with QR codes to our website, to the YouTube channel. And it's more sure than trying to read their handwriting and get back to them with a phone number or an email I can't read. That happens every year.
Eli, you're still going to have the ruler type things with the SKDA links on and stuff.
Yeah, I just have to figure out how to do the QR code right, because the QR code I used apparently was a something or other and not the right one. Static and dynamic, and I used the wrong one.
Okay.
If you know, you can explain it to me. I gotta look it up and do it and get those printed. It'll kind of get you to SnoKing, but it won't get you right to the website, which is kind of the hope, was that it would get you right to the website. It has, okay, anybody understands QR codes, you can help me out at the end, okay? On static and dynamic. And I thought I had the right one, but I guess I didn't.
I could try this option.
Okay, because it's a difference between it, and I printed up a whole bunch of stickers and everything, and I'm trying to figure out if I have to redo them. Because it takes you, I think, to my email or something. It does, you're not totally lost. You're still in SnoKing, but it's
Okay.
not taking people to the website. Yes, I would
Yeah,
love
it
help
should
with
be
that.
a note. I'll see if I can fix that for you.
Yeah, because it's the difference between static and dynamic. I got that far. I have to do the right one so it'll last for next year too.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and fair entries are really so easy if you follow the rules. We went through that at the last monthly meeting, and I made it a little. This was the in 2024, the June 2024 monthly meeting. Tim 80, who is the event supervisor for everything outside and inside, he's the guy with the Santa Claus beard. And he usually works bareheaded and barehanded with the bees in the bee tent, which is between the two booths, the NWDBA booth. That's the club that meets in Snohomish at the Lutheran Church. And then we are the other one, the SnoKing Beekeepers. And then between us is usually the tent with the hive inside, the demo hive that Tim goes in and shows people the bees through the screen. It's screened like a dining tent, sleeping tent. It's mesh on all sides, so people can see what he's doing. It's a really good, it's one of the best exhibits there at the fair. So how to do wax and honey entries, and I'll run through it again if anybody wants to. There's some tricks that you will almost for sure get a ribbon if you follow all the little rules. And this year you get 2 chances. You can bring your entry on August 15th, that Saturday, as well as the Saturday before the fair, August 22nd. Yes. So, and also we need people to help take the entries, but I think I have all 3 people signed up for doing the honey judging. And person number 3, you're going to have to tell me who you are again, that I already promised, because I can't remember. I can remember Jen, and I can remember Karen, and then I can't remember the 3rd person, but I saved your spot. So tell me. And then we also need people to help handle the entries coming in on the 2 mornings, the 2 Saturdays, the 15th and the 22nd before the fair. And the honey is open class. This is the judging. And the judging wax there too. And you can do all kinds of things, make candles, do other freeform art with wax. I want to turn in a pollen sample from the malt bee apiary. That's my goal this year, is because very few people do that, but it is something that's really easy to do at this time of the year. Trap pollen. Everybody gets too many pollen frames, right? The bees are in nectar dearth. And so what do? They go out and collect pollen and start backfilling the brood nest, which they kind of need to slow down the brood. I know it's okay, but they don't need that much pollen. They're going to throw it out next spring. Here's all the regulations. It's under open class, general agriculture, department, I want to say P. Oh, and the other one that's really fun is to enter the scarecrow competition. And Becky won prizes every year with her scarecrows. That one did not win anyone. That was a little too political statement there. We're supposed to avoid that kind of political statement in the future. It was somebody who was working at the fair. He put a can of Raid there and a dead beekeeper who'd overused pesticides. Okay, but we're not really allowed to do that. They sort of said, don't do that. Oh, when you do sign up and do your entries, you can do it in person, fill out the form, the card there, or do it online. If you have a lot of entries, and actually for honey, you can enter one in every one of the color classes. I don't know if you can read up here in the fine. If you have all different colors of honey, you can enter each type of honey. It is 3 containers each. And you have to follow the rules, but you have a lot of opportunities to potentially win a prize if you're willing to do a little extra work. This is a while ago too. I don't know what the exact position of our tent will be. We never know until we get there. We need a pickup truck volunteer it'll be Monday or Tuesday before the fair. And then we need a pickup truck probably the day after Labor Day to take the big stuff out of the fair. It's just too much work to do it on Labor Day itself. So the day after Labor Day, we again need a pickup truck then. We sold our pickup, so we don't have one anymore. But lots of people have pickups and they can do it. And let us know. It's always good to have a backup person if there's more than one person. Could also be easier to stack things in because all the poles and such for this canopy that we have to put up, it's our own. Make sure you sign in. I can't say that enough. You got to sign in, you got to sign out, and you get one chance per shift for drawings. And you can't buy this stuff. You can't get the extra t-shirts. You can't get the 2 hive stacks that we have, 10 frame, really nice hive stacks were donated actually by Daniel Lafferty. And then you also want to sign in so that you can track how many hours you were there and how many service credits you get. For journeyman, I know I push a lot on the journeyman service credits. You got 3 years to get them. You must have your apprentice certificate. Notice this line down here. And then you can get half your service credits in one category, which a lot of people do. They are an officer for a club. They get a maximum of 17.5 in that category. They can staff booths at various places, maximum of, you can get 17.5, half your 35 service credits. Now, 17.5 means 35 hours. That sounds like a lot, but hey, it's so much fun hanging out at the fair. It's easy to do. And if you're at the honey booth, just sign in at our booth if you're claiming those hours to make sure that you got it logged someplace when you were there. And we usually just ask him when he needs help. If we have more than 3 people actually show up, then we do. We want 3 people on every shift first. And then if there's extra people, Tim often needs to take a break. He and his wife and whoever else he has working there. We haven't gotten too far on the prizes yet. I think we're going to have jars of honey. And we often use your grand prize in a demo at the fair. Last year, the Guardian bee suits, jackets and full bee suits were on the mannequins at the fair. So it was kind of interesting. But the 2 hive stacks will have been donated. We'll probably use them there at the fair, and they're brand new, painted, but never really used. But it's good to have a demo there to be able to say, this is a hive box. Bees need a ceiling. They need a floor. Here are the walls, you know. I know. Here is the door. I'm sorry, but it sounds like preschool. But you really do. It's good for people to visualize. And then you can talk how much they're going to need, equipment and stuff to get started. Depending on how far you want to talk. And sometimes you really find you love talking about it. We have a great jigsaw puzzle, a neck fan, and we can still use more donations. More will come in. We haven't really worked on that yet. We have 4 weeks left. Oh, and the observation hive is such a winner. This is Nikaya, who one summer she just took it over and she just did the observation hive. She had a wonderful time. And we give out the queen stickers, and everybody can have a queen sticker. I mean, babies, everybody. And there they are. And we mark the queen. This is obviously from some years ago. She's very visible in an observation hive because there's a queen excluder that keeps her in that top frame. T-shirts. Admire the t-shirts, please. Only way to get them is to volunteer at the fair. And there's lights in the tent at night too, if it gets dark. When you're talking about our club, I don't know if most people realize how much we have. I'm writing it up. I'll have a new brochure out there that emphasizes that we have a club apiary. Not all clubs do. We do classes year round. I know I skipped summer, but pretty much year round, and they're certified through the state association. Some people that's important to. And we have the YouTube channel. They can go on the web to find the classes, SnoKingBeekeepers.org. If you're used to typing out SnoKingBeekeepers.org, it goes to the same place. We paid for 2 domain names there. Monthly discussion groups. That's one we're really pushing on. The trophies for the people who have taken the Journeyman Academic class or an equivalent to that, or they really are interested in talking one level beyond beginner and apprentice talk. And we have now 2 other discussion groups that are experience-based too. If you go to Hive Mind on the 4th Wednesday, of each month, you get priority on beginner questions. You can ask any question you want, like why don't bees hibernate during the winter or something like that. Okay, it's okay. You can ask any question there is. Can you grow stingless bees in the United States? We will not laugh. Honest. Jennifer and Kobe are really good and they'll talk anything with you. Then we have now the second Wednesday of the month, we've started the idea that we need to talk about, with beginners especially, what is going on in your hive right now. Right now, robbing, dearth, you didn't need as much protective gear. Why are the bees zinging around, acting funny? Are they robbing, or is what they're doing normal? You know, and that's a great time to share pictures. Our discussion groups, because they're on Zoom, it makes it really easy to share pictures and share screen. Same as an event like this. And then we have our newsletters. They're coming out more frequently because they're our main source of being in touch. And I need feedback on the newsletters. One person was saying they're just too long. You need to get them shorter. The only way I can get them shorter is really to send them out more often. And that may or may not be a good thing. I'm working on that. So if you have feedback on that, I need it. And our Facebook group is really good because we don't let people make fun of you. Any question you ask, or if they disagree with you, they're not allowed to call you stupid or dumb or whatever. And that happens in other groups. And after we started the We Will Not Tolerate It, I noticed other groups immediately followed. Oh, and people want to know, maybe they want to know how much the classes cost. I just made our lives easy. Everybody is $75 for the class and $30 for the membership dues. Partly because beginners take a lot more work in some ways. Apprentice starts to give back. They're usually starting to post things in the discussion groups and contribute a little bit more. Journeymen, we really are hoping that you give back, like being at the fair and such. But also just helping out in helping other people. Informal mentoring, even if we don't have a formal mentoring program, which is something I wish I could really figure out how to do. It would take somebody coming up with a really good system, and most clubs are not succeeding at mentoring despite what they tell you, and they get you to join, and then you pay, and then you don't get the mentor you were promised. Our apiary really is open not just a day or two of the year, but 2 days of the week, most of the weeks, May through August. We had a really slow spring, but hey, we still tried. The queen rearing workshop was put off this year. We'll be back, I think, on schedule to do it next year, probably about 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, so that we can be doing it, definitely having our queens emerge after the summer solstice, June 21st, which means they are first spring queens next year. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is it's just too hard when people are trying to do end of the year stuff in June, especially, to get people to really be able to come out. Even if it's a 2-day, it could come out either day of Wednesday and Saturday, Tuesday and Saturday, whatever works for the people who volunteer for the queen rearing workshop. Even if they can do it later in the summer, they often can't do it the month of June. So we're going to shift things back a little bit on that. And our extractor loan is free. There's no additional charge. We actually have 3 extractors, but I know where 2 of them are right now. And yes, and this is to have a lot of fun. We have things like you can put on the wings and demonstrate how to fly like a bee. And I have a video if you want to actually see about that. There's a couple questions that will come up that I haven't written anything up on yet. We need to put something right at the booth about the Asian hornet. Now, I know that we're not supposed to really be sounding as if we're pejorative about any part of the world. I don't know why, but they did come from Asia. The murder hornet, as they called it, and the current one, the yellow-legged hornet that came in through the southeast of the United States, and it probably will spread. It has spread through Europe, across Europe. I think the United Kingdom is facing it. It's not as bad as the humongous one, Vespa mandarinea, which you notice the mandarin in there, so you can't hide that it's an Asian hornet. But the other one, the yellow-legged one, this isn't it. This is the worker and the queen of the murder hornet, which is considered eradicated but could pop up at any time. We are global trade oriented, especially on this side of the United States, on the Pacific ports. It could. The yellow-legged one, I think is probably going to get here, but it's more controllable. There are some controls for it. Oh, and tropolaelaps. I have to get something. Anybody have anything ready-made for tropolaelaps? We have to get something right there in time for the fair. It is the upcoming next scourge of the beekeeper. They tested for it when they did the hive inspections on 8 hives here at the malt bee apiary. Just on, which day was that? Monday. They did that Monday. So we got to get that. The honey judging is really fun, but in number 3 person, you have to tell me who you are because I'll have to send out an email because I cannot remember who the 3rd person is. Sorry, I talked to so many people. They still need help in the morning getting all this set up, taking the entries, and the people who take the entries and help process them and get them in, and make sure people have a pickup ticket that they leave with a ticket so they can pick up their honey later. When we do that, that person is not supposed to actually judge. So those of you who are judges can't actually come and help with that. We need another set of people. 1 or 2 people would be nice on those Saturdays in the morning. So if anybody can't come on the fair dates themselves, but they could come those Saturday mornings and help, see, maybe till like 1 o'clock, that would be wonderful. Tim would really appreciate it. Oh, and thanks to everybody doing everything. We have hundreds of donors and volunteers and everything. That's what I have. I can stop this.